loosen up. You know what I'm saying? We're here in the Fader Culture channel. We're gonna
Hey, chill.
Listo. Listo. What's going on, Fader Culture? It's Sergio Barron, and we're back again with another tutorial. Today, I'm gonna be doing a mid drop fade on my boy Vidal here, but I'm gonna switch up the steps here, just so I can give y'all a different option when it comes to fading. And yeah, I hope y'all enjoy these steps. So let's get started. Okay guys, so to begin, I'm gonna quickly debulk the fading area, and I'm gonna come in with my one guard open lever, and I'm only gonna debulk right there at exactly where I know I will set down my first guideline. That way it's just a lot more simple to see where I will be laying down my guidelines. Then to lay down my first guideline, I'm gonna come in with the clipper lever closed, and I'm gonna run this guideline down slanting towards as I reach the back of his head, and then I'm gonna make sure it meets at the exact same spot that I started at, but on the opposite side, at his opposite tempo peak area. Make sure you take your time when laying down your first guideline, as the rest of the haircut is basically gonna flow based off of this first initial guideline that you set. Next, I'm gonna open the lever on the clipper with no guard, and I'm gonna lay down my first guideline coming up about a ½ inch high. And I'm just gonna make sure that this guideline flows consistently around the whole head, running parallel to that first line that we set. Now, if you've seen my previous videos, I usually first set in all my guidelines and then I come back in and blend them right out. But like I said, I wanted to show y'all, give y'all a different approach as on how to fade. So right here, you'll see that as I'm finished setting in this first guideline, instead of setting in my second guideline, I'm gonna come in and starting with the clipper lever closed, and then I'll gradually open it, pivoting back and forth between both positions, and just basically blend out this initial guideline that we started with. And you're just gonna wanna work in small sections at a time until you get it completely taken out throughout his whole entire head. So as you see here, I started with it closed, and right here I open it a tad bit just to finish taking out that first guideline. We will continue this exact same process throughout the whole head until this whole initial guideline is completely blended out. And remember guys, like I said, I start with the clipper lever closed, fade a little bit, and then I open it like halfway, and then just continue blending it out. This method kind of benefits those who kind of feel like they're always taking up their blends too high. Since that dark line is on top, you basically know how high to go without without taking your fade up too high. You're just gonna want to blend right under that dark line. And remember, we start with the clipper lever closed, and then we open if needed. If you feel like the clipper lever closed took it out, then by all means you do not need to open the lever a little bit more to finish taking it out. Next, I'm gonna come in with my one guard lever open, and I'm gonna set down my second guideline. And I'm only gonna come up about a ½ inch and continue that process all around the whole head. Try not to come in with your clipper with so much heavy pressure. That way you're not creating dark guidelines that need to be taken out. Just kind of like with the soft to medium pressure, just enough to take out the hair. And once you're done with that, we're gonna come back in and now blend out that underline that we left. For this, I'm gonna come in with my half guard open to about 3/4, and I'm gonna quickly just come in and with the corners of the clipper, working on like small sections at a time, I'm gonna blend out this middle guideline. I honestly don't use this method that much when I cut hair, but I do know a lot of great barbers that use this method and they get really amazing results. But honestly, in my opinion, if it makes sense in your head to basically learn to cut hair this way, then by all means do so. Everybody's gonna have their own ways of fading hair, and I suggest you start with the one that makes most sense in your head. But as you see here, we're about finished blending out that line that we had created. So next, I'm gonna come in with my 2 guard, lever open, and I'm gonna set down another guideline. I will be coming up about a 1/2 inch high, making sure I'm not coming up any higher than that so that we're not cutting too much length off the top of his hair. You're basically gonna kind of wanna think of his head of a square. That way you're basically leading the haircut up into the ceiling and not into the top of his head. So next we're gonna come back in and blend out that guideline that we created. For this, I'm gonna come in with my 1.5 clip open to about 3/4, and I'm gonna start chipping away at that guideline that was left behind. Just note that with this guard, you won't completely take out this guideline. You're gonna feel like it needs a little bit more work, but don't worry, as long as you take out most of it. Right now we'll come back with the 1 guard with the same lever position and finish taking it out. So right now you could just kind of think of it like you're just basically softening up this guideline. So like I said, now I'm gonna come in with my 1 guard and I'm gonna leave the lever in the same position, and I'm gonna basically finish taking out that guideline. So now that you're done with that, we're gonna come back in with that 3 guard, lever open all the way, and we're gonna start blending out this dark ridge right here that you see. I'm gonna try not to take it up too high. I mean, all you're doing is basically softening it up a little bit at a time. And then right now we'll come back in with the 4 guard, open lever, and finish taking it out completely. Make sure as you're cutting away any hair, you're like continuously brushing away or combing away any loose hair. That way you maintain a clean workspace throughout the whole process. So next, like I said, we're gonna come in with the 4 guard, lever open, and we're gonna finish blending out that top ridge that was left. And once you're done with this, you're basically gonna come in and do your touch-up work. Quickly kind of step back, analyze what you think still needs blending. For this haircut, I felt like I still needed a little bit of blending here and there, so I came in with the clipper with no guard, lever open all the way, and basically just kind of spotted any little dark areas that needed blending, and just quickly came in with my clipper using the corners here just to kind of take them out. Next, we're gonna follow up with our trimmers, coming in with them upside down and push it down on this bottom hair. That way we create a bald guideline, and then whatever faint line it creates, we're gonna quickly come back with our clippers right side up and just take it right out. I start with them upside down, since in that position it basically balds the hair a little more, and for that purpose it's gonna kind of leave us a guideline to show us how high to come up with our electric shavers without basically taking those shavers up into your fade. Then we'll just come back in and take out the rest of the excess hair that was left behind. And as you see here, you'll be able to spot that little faint line that we had left with the clipper upside down, and that right there is going to be our guideline to how high to take up our electric shaver. And then we're just going to grab our electric shaver and basically skin out the bottom of his head just to get it as smooth as possible down to his skin. Next, I'm gonna quickly come in and add a little bit of texture on top. It won't be so much since his hair is already at about a finger in length, up top. So there's not much room for texture, but I'll still come in and add a little bit just to give his hair a little bit of movement on top. And once I'm done with that, I'll quickly blow dry his hair just to remove any loose hair that's hanging around on his head. And then I'm gonna start with my lineup work. I'll start from the middle and then work my way to the left and right side of his head, basically creating a sharp box with 90-degree corners on each side. Take your time when you're doing your lineup. You wanna try and get it as straight as possible. So to help ensure that you're going as straight as you can, it's a good idea to kind of just take a step back continuously throughout the process. That way you ensure you're not losing sight of your lineup. Then I just applied a little bit of shaving gel before coming in with my straight razor and shaving out the rest of his hair. I always start by shaving with the grain at first, taking out most of his hair, and then I'll come in and refine the edges coming against the grain to get it as sharp as possible. I'm always getting asked what kind of straight razor I use, and this one is called a Turkish razor. I like it because of how thin it is, but I'll be sure to link it down in the description for y'all if y'all feel like checking it out. And after his lineup, I'll move forward with doing his facial hair, and I'm gonna just come in quickly detail his shape out his goatee. So that's pretty much it, guys, for this tutorial. I'll quickly come in and add a little bit of enhancements just to help his edge up pop a little harder, and then I'll come in and apply a matte pomade to the top of his hair just to kind of bring out his haircut overall. But yeah, guys, I hope y'all were able to take something home from this tutorial. Here's the before and here's the after. I hope y'all like this method. Let me know down in the comments y'all's opinion on it, or if y'all like to see another tutorial with this type of method, or maybe what other haircut y'all like to see me go over. Again, guys, my name is Sergio Barron. This is Faded Culture, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.